everyone, and thank you for being with us virtually. Last night, I ordered dinner from Pat and Gracie's. I've been doing my best to support local small restaurants during the pandemic. I ordered through a delivery third party vendor, and saw a surcharge on my bill. And while I don't love paying the extra fees, that is nothing compared to the pressure restaurants are under right now. We know small businesses across Columbus are struggling, especially folks in the service industry. Given that Franklin County is at a level purple and we have issued as a city a stay at home advisory that goes into effect this evening, restaurants likely won't be seeing an uptick in person dining. We understand that our decisions to ask folks to stay at home to slow the spread of this out of control virus right now will have real economic impact on our small businesses. We're going to see more delivery because of the stay at home advisory, particularly this holiday season. But those third party delivery companies can charge steep prices. Our small businesses need a hand right now. And while we're here today to talk about what City Council can do for small business owners, I would be abdicating my responsibility to not ask our federal representatives to step up for Columbus. The Senate has the HEROES Act. There are forgivable loans, grants, and more in this bill. Senator Brown has come out strong for the HEROES Act, but Senator Portman has not helped move this along yet. We need his help. Small businesses, some just down the street from his Columbus office, need his help. Small businesses are fighting to stay afloat. We're here today to give them a hand in that fight. Not too long ago, or not too long after the pandemic started, Matt Roots reached out to council and told us about this issue. I'm happy to say that because of the leadership of President Pro Tem Brown, we are able to announce some legislation today. We understand that with that, I want to pass it over to my friend, someone who got this over the finish line and really who through working with these small businesses, understood the plight of so many of them and really pushed this through, to my friend, President Pro Tem Elizabeth Brown.
Thank you so much, Council President. It's really good to be joining you today and Ms. Troutner and Mr. Roots to talk about this issue. The strain on our restaurants through the pandemic really can't be understated. The strain on all businesses, especially retail-based businesses. And that's why Council plans to take action on Monday. What brought us here are the voices of people like Sheila and Matt. Although it hasn't been no secret from the start that restaurants would struggle during this pandemic, it was a roundtable conversation we convened with local owners in October that helped bring their challenges into sharp focus around this issue. And it quickly became clear, hearing their firsthand stories, that high delivery fees make already difficult circumstances even more challenging. Also, as an elected official of Columbus, I don't like the idea that local dollars are essentially being really shipped out to far-off corporations through these third-party delivery fees. We want to keep the money that folks are spending locally here locally to help our businesses survive, to pay our workers, to keep people employed. It also became clear in that conversation that this is an area where council can take action. So the ordinance that council will consider on Monday will limit the fee that third-party delivery services can charge to restaurants local in Columbus. It will cap it at 15% of the purchase price on delivery or pickup orders. And based on what I heard from restaurants, really the standard going rate right now is double that. So think about that difference that it can make for local owners. Any violation of this will be a misdemeanor of the first degree. The cap will go into effect immediately and remain in place until 120 days after restaurants are permitted to operate at 100% capacity with no restrictions. Importantly, I want to highlight we are also protecting workers by ensuring that delivery services do not reduce pay or garnish tips from delivery drivers in response to the cap. Restaurants are small businesses that not only keep people fed, keep me and my family fed, but that add to the character and the culture and the vibrancy of our neighborhoods. We know that this winter is going to be tough on ordinary residents in Columbus. We know it's going to be tough on our small businesses. So we are instituting this cap to help our restaurants keep going. I'm grateful to the Capitol Crossroads SID and the Ohio Restaurant Association for helping to organize and amplify the voices of our restaurant community. And I'm grateful for the team at council, including my legislative aide, Kelsey Ellingson, for all the work in making this fee cap, in getting this legislation to the point of introduction on Monday. But mostly, I want to thank the restaurant owners who met with me virtually to make it clear what the impact of this kind of legislation could be. So our next speaker is one of those owners, and I'd like to turn things over with no further ado to Matt Roots, owner of Pat and Gracie's. Matt, take it away.
Thank you so very much. First of all, I would like to thank the council. I would like to thank all the legislative aides, the city attorney, everyone that's helped us push this through. Back when the pandemic started, our business was probably about 25% delivery and 75% in-house. Well, with the pandemic shutdown, we saw just a complete shift of those percentages, where it went to 75% delivery, 25% in-house. So some people think that, oh, well, your sales are still the same, so it should be good. The caveat to that is that when someone orders Uber, DoorDash, Grubhub, or Postmates, or any other delivery service that's available in town, those third-party delivery services take a cut off of the top. So for an example, if I'm selling a hamburger for $10 and it gets delivered to your home, those delivery services in return only pay me $7 back for that $10 purchase. So with the sales the same, and that shift in percentage from in-house where there's no charge to delivery where there is from these third-party deliveries, yes, our sales are good, but 30% of our revenue is going out the door. And with sales down, with the pandemic in play, with less people coming into the restaurant, it affects all of my employees, my servers and tips, and it affects all of my staff in the back of the house. With that said, I started doing some research and noticed that out in California that they started putting some of the cities out there, Los Angeles, San Jose, San Francisco, started putting some caps on the delivery service fees that these third-party companies could charge. Then it started moving more towards the East Coast in New York, New Jersey, and Chicago. So that's when I kind of reached out whenever the CID had we had our meeting of what the city could help with, to help alleviate some of those costs and to put more money into the small business owners' pockets to help with just ongoing expenses through the pandemic. So through the help of all the council and all of their aides and people that work for them, I just want to say thank you for this, because this makes a huge difference in the sustainability of our restaurants, especially as we go through these winter months. And it's very, very much appreciated. And I can say that probably for everyone in the city of Columbus that runs a restaurant and does delivery service. So with that, I believe that I'm supposed to hand this over to Sheila Trotner, who is the Ohio Restaurant Association.
Thank you. Thank you, Matt. Council President Hardin and Council President Pro Tem Brown, thank you for the opportunity to be here today to talk about our community's restaurants. First and foremost, I want you and everyone watching to know how fully committed the Columbus restaurant community and our local restaurant alliance are to excellently and safely serving our community. Restaurants have always had guest safety and employee safety at the top of our list. In the past, that mostly meant food safety and a high level of cleaning and sanitizing. But in 2020, we very effectively added social distancing, mask wearing, and COVID mitigation efforts to everything else we do. As current chair of the Ohio Restaurant Association's Board of Directors and owner and operator of a hospitality-focused business here in Central Ohio, I've know firsthand how devastated our state's and our city's restaurants are. We hold our collective breath every day at 2 when the new COVID numbers come out and every time a state or local official holds a press conference. But today, I am pleased to be here in support of Columbus City Council's proposal that will give Columbus restaurants a better chance to survive this latest surge. We appreciate that many of our customers use delivery apps to order excellent meals from our restaurants. And during this pandemic, those orders are even more important, as Matt said. But unfortunately, for many restaurants, the fee that the third-party delivery companies charge make these orders only marginally, if at all, profitable for us. So your support of limiting that fee during this public health and economic crisis is significant and appreciated by our city's restaurants. In addition, I'd be remiss not to thank you also for what you have done to make some of the Federal CARES Act funding available to our city's small businesses. One of the things I think about every day is the seeming disconnect in our country. State and local officials are the ones monitoring our safety efforts and deciding what restrictions to place on our community's businesses, but truly meaningful financial help has to come from our members of Congress in Washington. Our city and our state's restaurants and other small businesses are desperately hurting, especially those closest to our center cities. I would ask everyone watching today to add your voice to ours in calling for our country's senators and members of Congress to put politics aside and act now to give our cities and the restaurants and other small businesses who add such vibrancy to our communities a better chance to survive this crisis. Thank you again for the opportunity to be here today and for your willingness to look for creative ways to help Columbus's restaurants. We certainly need everyone's help and support to get to the other side of this crisis and be there to keep our city the shining light we all know and love. So thank you for this opportunity and thank you for all you do.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Sheila. That was great. And to both Sheila and Matt, you put the finest point possible on exactly how important taking this kind of local action is. So thank you for your advocacy as well. We are doing what we can as a city to support workers and businesses during this pandemic. And I am very glad that Council President and Sheila mentioned the additional help that's needed from federal partners to ensure that our small businesses, regular folks, all of us make it through the other side of this pandemic. We are really at a frightening point. We are. I mean, I will use the word frightening. I thinking about my own family, thinking about our own health, I'm thinking about the health of folks across our whole city. We know that we're in for a hard winter. So we have to step up and do what we can. And I want to echo some of what Council President really started with, talking about his meal he ordered last night. I'm going into the holiday season. I am buying local for all of my Christmas presents that I'm sending around to my family. I am trying as much as possible to order out when we can afford it. We have one another right now in this crisis. That is the one guarantee we have. We have one another. So let's support the folks who are doing the work to keep our city so strong and so vibrant and one that can weather this whole pandemic. It's important to emphasize that the health restrictions that are coming into place, we need people to take them seriously and also to do what they can to support our businesses. That's what this is about. This is a safe way to support our businesses. So with that, I'm going to open things up for questions. If you can utilize the raise hand function, if any press have questions, to just indicate that you do. And then I will call you out and all the folks with the power behind the scenes will unmute you. So we'll start with that, and then if there are none, people can always, of course, follow up. So I'm going to make sure I have my view on correctly here. You attendees, are there any questions? All right. Well, I don't see any on the spot, unless I'm really bad at this, which is a possibility. Angie, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I don't see any raised hands.
Great. No questions at this time.
Okay. All right. Good. Well, then with that, please don't hesitate to follow up with our communications director, L.A. Cole, Lee Cole, but it's L.A. Cole at columbus.gov, if there are additional questions that come to mind from press afterward. We look forward to considering this legislation on Monday, and thank you to the restaurant owners, and thank you, Council President, for your partnership in this effort. See you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.